Hi, fellow YouTubers. My name is Tamika. I go by she and her pronouns, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new, or just as a reminder, I dedicate my channel to Black women who are living with chronic pain or underlying chronic conditions, medical illness, which is at the stage of life where I am at. I might look on the outside that everything's fine, but I have both challenges with the chronic pain that I live with each day. I also have medical conditions as well. And I'm also working on improving and living with mental health diagnoses also. So it's a trifecta, and definitely it's, as the believers would say, this is my cross and this is what I'm made to bear. And there are days where I can bear it a lot more easier with strength and grace, and there are moments where I lose all of that strength and grace. And yesterday was one of those moments. I just want to share today what I really want to share and talk about is basically advocating and standing up for yourself to actually get the kind of support and the kind of treatment you need from your specialist. Just because they're a doctor and it's a doctor's office, it doesn't make them infallible. They're not the Pope, and the Pope is not always infallible. I know that's controversial. Let's save that for another day. Just because it's the doctor's office operates a certain way, and if the way that they're running their office, so this particular office that I have been attached to, just runs patients through like a gauntlet. The doctor will be seeing 13, 14, 15 people per hour. At least that's his aim. So when you show up there, you're waiting, and you don't know how long you're going to wait. One time I showed up and I was told, thank you for registering. Why don't you go home, and we'll call you when we are ready for you, because there's a wait. And I think it ended up being almost close to 2 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. This is something that is new, that is happening in our healthcare system. We know that our healthcare system is broken. We know that it's even much more so broken for racialized people. And when Black women speak up, we're often seen as difficult. I had to have a back and forth between this particular office and my family doctor in order to get an appointment. This doctor has been seeing me for my condition for over a decade, and at different intervals, not on a ongoing consistent basis, because with my chronic kidney disease there are times where I have flare-ups, let's put it that way. So this is not a doctor that I'm new to. So the fact that it's become impossible to communicate, trying to leave voicemails. I even requested, can I get communication via email just to get an appointment? Will the doctor be calling me? When the doctor was doing phone appointments, for some reason he could only call after 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, like just ridiculous hours in the evening that, if you're living with chronic pain, you know that at that point of the day, you're not able to want to have a conversation about what's happening with you. You want to be winding down and resting. Or maybe like me, at certain times in the evening, I take my medication to help me to go to sleep. So no, I don't want a phone call from a doctor at 9:40 at night or 9:15 or whatever the case may be. I don't know why this doctor operates his office in this manner. It's really a shame. And then this morning I received an email to say, basically, yesterday they said they would accommodate me after I contacted my family doctor. And I got support of my mother, who also contacted my family doctor expressing concern about why is it so hard for her to get to an appointment to see the specialist. So I believe that because my family doctor communicated and sent information, that's the only reason they responded as quickly as they did, because if it was just me on my own, their response time is abysmal. So I contacted them. Then I have to contact the family doctor. The family doctor, I guess, reached out back to them, and they came back to me with, okay, we'll give you an appointment on Monday for 9 a.m. You'll be the first person to be seen in the clinic. And then today I come and I open my email to say that, your appointment has been canceled. If you're looking for any other kinds of referrals, please go and see your family doctor for further assistance. So Yesterday I had an appointment at 9 a.m. Today I have nothing with them. And in a way I feel it's probably a blessing. This, despite the fact that I have a history with this office, the treatment that I've received, the lack of care, the lack of consideration, just the resources emotionally and mentally that I've had to dedicate in order to just to be heard has been extremely exhausting. The last time been seen by this doctor was in December of 2021 when I had a procedure done, and I was advised. He said that we will follow up in 6 months. We are now in the end of coming to the ending of October. I still have not had that follow-up consultation appointment. So it's really frustrating. It's really demeaning because you just feel like you're just being pushed through the system like going through like a gauntlet through the system, and nobody's really all that attentive to your experience. In the interim, I've had chronic infections. I've had chronic and consistent pain. I still have underlying issues with both of my kidneys. That is a hereditary condition. So those issues, my medical issues, have not evaporated because this doctor can't get it together and be organized in how they run their practice. And unfortunately, this is the kind of specialist that I need. And I'm stuck with a specialist that I cannot access, essentially. I cannot get proper access. I can't get proper care. I cannot get accurate communication. There seems to be lack of consideration for my condition when it comes to the chronic pain. I cannot be there for 2 to 3 hours waiting. I don't even know how any of the other patients manage it, but I am speaking on my behalf. And I do believe, because I spoke up and I did send them an email to say I really do not want to have further communication with you previously. And then my family doctor interjected because she's like, your case is complicated. You should basically stick with this doctor. The wait lists are terrible. And that's the other thing. So I'm going to now have to be referred to another specialist, and that's going to be another 6, 9 months, a year and a half, who knows, of waiting. But it'll be the same wait time that I've been suffering with the current doctor that I allegedly have, who I cannot get to see. I cannot get a phone call. I cannot get in clinic to get an appointment. So if wait lists are the issue, it seems to now be the trend of the day. And that's really unfortunate because it's like the squeaky wheel gets the most grease. If you don't really speak up or speak out, they're either going to punish you, which I kind of feel what they're doing by saying, fine, we'll drop you from our roster of patients. And I actually think that's a good thing because the frustration level is way too high and it's not good for my mental health. Or you're going to be getting the care just so they can get rid of you, get you out of the way. Either way, you have to speak out and speak up. The way I was treated, I was not treated with dignity. I was not treated with respect. I did not receive anything more than a 2-sentence email from the office. I'm pretty sure the doctor did not write that or compose that email. And I really, in my feelings, I felt less than a person. But I know in my head that that is not the case. I'm not the only one who's suffering. I'm not the only one who's suffering with having to face specialists that really, it's an uphill battle. And you're still sick. That's the thing. You are still sick. So if your case gets really bad, the only other alternative is really going to the ER. And at that point, yeah, they'll have specialists on call there to see you. But that's not how we should be having our healthcare system. That is no way to be practicing medicine, waiting until you're at the most vital or critical stage in order to actually get the care. It's very disappointing. I do feel I was treated like a number. And because of that, I don't really necessarily feel there's any love lost if I no longer have any further contact or communication with this office. And that's the reality of what's out there. I think that people really seem to think that our healthcare system is strong and robust, and all you need to do is go to your doctor, and there's specialists there, and there's referrals, and there's a process, and there's a lot more to it. I'm having to fight all the way to get the care that I need. Whether it's for my physical health or for my mental health, I am having to fight through this entire healthcare system. And if I don't fight in some kind of a way, and I don't have the energy to do that every single day, I'm not going to get any care. I'll be left behind. I'm on my own. I don't have a partner. I don't have a spouse. So I'm the one who has to muster up the mental fortitude to deal with these calls, to go be ping pong back and forth from a specialist office to another specialist to my family doctor. I'm the one that has to have the sleepless nights. I'm the one that has to have the pain. I'm the one that has to be suffering, not knowing what the other choices or alternatives are. They don't have to live with that. And they don't see that either as being important in the terms of what accurate and quality patient care looks like. A lot of these doctors could really do with a whole re-education and recognize that you need to be patient-centric. If you were the patient and you were sick as the specialist, and it took you all these months and you couldn't even get an appointment, what would that do to you both physically and mentally? That's what I would ask this doctor if I sat in front of him. What would that do to you and your family personally, with your family and people who care for you seeing you struggle and you can't get an appointment? How would that make you feel? What would you do in that circumstance when you're calling and no one's returning your calls? Or when you're sending emails and you're not getting a prompt response? Or when you're being told one thing and the alternate happens? What would that feel like for you? And many of these doctors, I guess, they've just become accustomed to it. This is their process. It is what it is. What are you going to do? It's a public healthcare system. You don't like it, SOL. That's a lot of them, I feel, have that attitude. And I wonder how they would feel if they were sitting on the other side. And that's something to consider, not only when we're talking about healthcare, but in our daily walk in life. You don't know what somebody else is walking with. So how would you feel if you have to walk in their shoes? What kind of compassion and empathy would you like to receive? So I wanted to share that with you all today. It's not the most positive and uplifting of message, but I believe as a believer in Christ, that when doors are closed, there's a reason for it. And I feel that this particular part of my healthcare journey with this office has come to a close, and I can actually accept that. And I have a sense of relief around it, to be honest. I'm without a specialist for this particular area, and it has to do with my kidneys, so that's really not, I'm not in a good position. I will have to start the process over, but I feel a sense of peace and release that I don't have to continue fighting. If I have to fight this hard just to get decent health care from a doctor's office, it outweighs the benefits of getting the care, because it negatively impacts me, particularly my mental health. And also too, I cannot be around for hours and hours on end waiting with my chronic pain. It just is not a reality that I can do. Maybe 10 years ago when I first was seen by the specialist, but that's not my reality today, and that should be respected. But in any case, this is just some of the stories that we as Black women experience when we're trying to get health care, when we're trying to access care. These are some of the barriers. They either ignore us, dismiss us, label us as difficult, label us as overly persistent, as a nuisance, or just don't want to wash their hands of you completely. When that happens, just know that door is closed. You have to release and let it go, and I've come to that realization, and you'll have to find another path forward. As difficult as that may be, that is just the reality. So today I want to say, listen to Black women, listen to our stories, share this story with others that you know who might have had similar experience. Believe our stories, amplify our voices. If you're an ally, amplify our voices in these settings. If you work in an office and you see this kind of behavior happening, if you want to be an ally to Black women who are suffering like myself, you have that opportunity to amplify our voice, to speak up on our behalf, to speak directly to your other staff members or to the doctor in particular about what is going on and the negative effects and impacts that it's having for such a patient. Listen to Black women, believe Black women, listen to our stories, listen to Black women, listen to Black women. Our stories deserve to be told. Thanks, everyone. God bless.